Previously on the Traitors ATL, 17 players entered the game, but hidden among them were 3 traitors, including one secret traitor whose first task was to mark 6 players for death. Then they played a challenge where they solved riddles to earn coins that would either help a player win a shield or be banked for the prize pot. When the coins were counted, a tie for second place meant only one player would earn protection. Lynn claimed the shield, and that night, the traitors struck, their victim, Kari. Now, with 16 players remaining, suspicion begins to spread as the traitors continue weaving their web of deception, and tonight tensions rise as the players approach their first round table where someone will be banished.
It's a whirlwind.
Faithful. I see plenty of tears, and it's only our first breakfast. So glad many of you could join us, but unfortunately, our dearest Kari. Oh, what's that, Kari? Oh, you said, yeah, when I gave you the rose, you did say that they were going to take you out first. Yes, I also hear the traitors laughing at them. You were right. You just lost maybe your most clairvoyant faithful that demonstrated themselves. It's a tough way to start this game. But anyway, the Dow's at 50,000, so no more tears. And to help dry those tears a little bit further, let's maybe get things exciting with another mission. Oh. This one's very cool. So let's have everyone grab a space on the floor. All right, faithfuls. Your next mission is called Icebreaker. In the next few minutes, you will receive a large chunk of ice with a whistle inside. Your job is to get the whistle out and blow on it. Each person that does this within the 10-minute timer will put $5 in the pot. All right, so in order to free your whistle, you can blow on it, you can rub it. You cannot, though, smash it or attempt to break the ice. You have to find a way to melt it. You also cannot help anyone else in the competition. Your goal is to get your whistle free in 10 minutes to put $5 in the prize pot. However, the first 4 players to free and blow their whistle will also receive a shield for the next murder. All right, faithfuls. Speed matters, grit matter, and protection matter. Now, time to reveal your character, and let's melt the ice. Time starts now.
If it was out of the ice, I was second. If it was in the ice, I spent extra time. I'm afraid, and that's why I'm going to fight this very hard.
Yep.
If it was out of the ice, I was second, and that's way different than being fourth or fifth. No tea, no shake to anybody who did anything, but I was slobbing on the knob on that thing to get it out of the ice.
I do know that you and LaDawn physically had it out
Yeah, we did.
of the ice.
I'm trusting y'all. I'm not saying.
I'm gonna cry. I'm trusting y'all. The other people y'all have roses, and I did not. And although I feel like I'm going to get a target on me, I think y'all already have it. And so I would rather them have it. But, and then we're just gonna say I lost. Oh no, I'm slow, my knee.
All right, faithfuls. To break this tie, we have a fairly simple challenge for you. You will each be standing somewhere in this room with a blindfold off. Your job is simply raise your hand when you believe 5 minutes have passed.
I hate these two.
The person that is the furthest away, without going over from 5 minutes, will be eliminated. All right.
Yeah.
This challenge will begin in 3, 2, 1.
All right, and that is it. We have 2 winners. 2 people will have shields.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yeah, my top suspicions as of right now are Catherine. She's been my top sus. That was the first thing. First thing was I tried to get as much genuine reaction from people when we first took our blinders off. I couldn't see everybody, but like at the angle was, I could see her directly, and I just feel like I don't want to say fear or maybe anxiety I felt on her face, but I guess everybody could have been feeling that. It was just a read. And then the way she kind of comes in conversations, like when I'm off to the side, or I don't really feel like she offers genuine strategy or her perspective when she does come to talk. It's never like a one-on-one thing. It's a lot, like I think she was trying to build a list to figure out who put like coins in for who. It almost came off like she was trying to help Village, but I also saw it like it could be like a way for just the wolf to kind of calculate who's like feeling, who's supporting who. I could 1000% be wrong, honestly. I think she would be a good target because she's like, she kind of lays low, she's nice, she kind of blends in. And
what do you make of Jonathan having spent a lot of time standing in the room?
I loved it.
What about it felt good?
I loved it out of the box. That gives information by itself because 1, nobody else thought about it. And then 2, it can go either way. It could be a villager doing a really savvy play because everybody was thinking about just cycling and like getting stuff for who they wanted, but nobody was actually standing there to calculate, what are people doing? Because technically you standing there sabotages time for you to get, coins for whoever you want to survive. So, but the more I think about it, I go back and forth. It could be a traitor doing that for information or just trying to look good, and it could be a townsperson genuinely trying to do their best to gather information.
What I thought was happening because of what I do think that it was a pivot.
Okay.
But now they don't have that in plain sight Rose thing where they can get Daniel. But I do think the shit show started now with Lynn and Liz, unfortunately.
I think they're
trying to mend.
They're trying to mend. I think they were talking.
Okay.
Obviously, they have issues from their last game, but I think there's kind of an understanding. I know everybody else doesn't trust Lynn like I kind of trust her, but I'm starting to side eye her. Liz gave me such genuine reactions. If she's evil, I have a tough time reading her normally. If she's evil, I can't. There's nothing.
She's too quiet.
But she was giving genuine reactions against Linda that made me feel like it was more than.
Because she was really like with Melinda. They went, oh my God, when she got the rose and everything, she was like, that is so fake, that is so fake.
Right. Yes.
Thoughts about Jonathan?
I'm still trying to suss.
He's so hard to read.
As a wolf, yes, because he doesn't say anything.
Stop. He's just a trait.
Right.
I love you, Jonathan. I didn't mean to say that.
Yeah, we love you, brother.
You just kind of sit there and you blend in.
Yeah, you're a fun guy.
For a tall guy, he blends the fuck in.
Yeah.
He does. She's like, yep.
So, right now, but my biggest thing, I understand you might be okay with being pocketed for now because it might help you, like in search survivability. But I don't trust Ash.
Well, I'm gonna.
I wouldn't have given her that
So
shield.
I was emotional, and I did what I did. I will not do that again if I get the chance to have it.
At least one of the traitors is a veteran, like who knows what they're doing, like for real. I would think.
A veteran player or veteran trader? I'm not.
Veteran player, like
okay.
somebody. Yeah, I can see that. I feel that.
I mean, but the thing is, I think everybody here is a veteran. If they haven't played an LRG, they've been an ORG, orcs, which is just online versions.
Okay.
So I don't think there's anybody here that's never not done something, and that's where we got to work. It's like I don't know the LA girls, the Kim, and
she hasn't. This is her first. This is my first.
But it's her. It's not her first. She's done orcs, which is just this online.
Okay.
And so while she's never had the live aspect of it, she's played it with Zoom and doing phone calls and stuff. That's how she plays.
That's not even like, I don't even necessarily think that's like a bad move, but it's so early. I don't think right. It's like at least like now that we have like something to go off, it's like she's just calling out people to call out people. And she's a very smart player. I'm not saying that's wrong, but like it's too early. It's so early to start. Yes, because we don't really know what to go on. Yeah. So sorry if I went up to the room just to grab a jacket. Is that? But I mean, people are going for something. But if I also go by myself, then they're going to think it's suspicious. Right. So that's why I brought someone with me. No, I get that. So it's not suspicious.
So far, I think the game is going well. I came in like thinking that there was. You could tell that some of these people have played together and they know each other, and there's relationships that are pre-existing to this. And my biggest fear was coming into this as somewhat of an outsider, being, we don't know who this is, we'll put him out. It seems like that's like the opposite of what's happening. It seems like the past relationships are what is driving the people who are getting banished or getting murdered, the people who are getting put up for the murders. It seems like, there's a bunch of people who played Survivor last year. There's a bunch of people who played the mole games together online and stuff like that. And there's like relationships and tensions there that's all sort of driving where stuff is going, which is great for me because I don't get to be in those conversations as the name coming up, but it makes it a little bit more messy. So that's kind of where I'm at now. I've tried to build some trust with Cody and Gabby and some other people there. I'm hoping that works out. I've been hearing Cody's name thrown out a lot, and I don't know if I can really stand up and defend him at this point. I don't know if I'm there yet, but not hearing my name. No one's telling me they're hearing my name, so I feel good about that. My biggest suspicion at this point is Elizabeth as the traitor, just because there's been some time, like she was calling out people very early on for some minor things, and it's kind of metagaming it, but then when asked directly about that, apparently was denying it. So, but it was like provable. Like she was saying these accusations in front of multiple people, and people were able to cross-reference that. And so, she was lying about that. Again, there seems to be some other drama there. So maybe that's all this is. Maybe that they're just not, a messy player. But either way, whether they're a messy player or a traitor, I think that's where my biggest vote is going. It seems like other people want to table that for later. We'll see where that goes. My other suspicion is maybe Jonathan, but I'm not 100% there either. Just because in the first mission, he was just standing and watching where people were putting the tokens. And as I was running through, I was like, are you just going to stand here and watch where we're putting them? And he was like, yes. But it didn't really communicate anything about trying to keep track of ties or anything like that. I talked to LaDon afterwards, or I went into the puzzle room and it's like, hey, he isn't doing anything, probably calling him out. LaDon kind of mentioned, he should keep track of ties, but then he stopped doing that because I called him out. And so it was kind of messy. Like I'm still a little suspicious because, again, it was never communicated to anyone in the group that's how he was doing, at least from what I could tell. So,
welcome to our round table. Here you'll have 15 minutes to discuss everything you've observed and learned throughout the day, make your accusations, and make your decisions on who you will vote to banish. You are, again, as faithful, all looking to banish traitors. However, we'll see how good you are at it. Now, I don't believe there's much left for me to say here, so, faithfuls, the floor is yours.
I know people hate. I know people usually don't like talking first. It probably puts a target on you. I will say this. I mean, obviously we all have different play styles. Obviously it's my first game, but I've had fun playing with you guys already. Just wanted to throw that out there. I personally would like to hear more from people who just haven't had a chance to speak, or like, may have something that they want to say, or just speaks less than average, the average person. I think there are a few people here. I'd love to just give them a chance to open the floor, if that's possible. If anybody wants to say anything, if they feel like they haven't said their piece.
I first feel a little bit, I get that. I come off as a quiet guy. In my normal life, I'm pretty quiet. I'm making a pretty big effort here I don't know any of you. I don't know there's some relations in this game year before or prior. So it's hard to come into that without, it's just hard to come into that. So I know me and you have not talked. We were sitting at the couch in the lobby. I was literally looking around because I know me and you, of all the people, have not talked to you. I've been making a pretty good effort of making my voice heard in a lot of different groups and stuff like that. I've put out names. I've defended other people. So I get that might come off as quiet, but I do feel like I've been putting out names. Jonathan, during the mission, how you were acting. I don't know if it was just nerves or something like that, but to me it was not communicated well to me or the group that that's what you're trying to do, was to keep track of ties. So if that was what we were doing, again, it wasn't communicated, and then we stopped doing that and we got a tie.
So I can say I did tell Steven that I wanted to do that as we were walking over to the other room.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he came back later and told me that people weren't liking it, I was like, okay, I'll go and try and get some coins. And that's why I left. And after I left, there was no way of keeping track of what the numbers were. So.
Are you claiming that you left watching the coin box? When do you think you left watching the coin box?
I'd say 5-6 minutes, somewhere in there.
Okay, because I've heard two different stories about when you left the coin box.
I'll say this, based on, once I figured out what his strategy was, he probably got to a count of what I would say maybe 15 to 20 total coins in the boxes. I would say that. Seemed like he was keeping an accurate count. Like I said, that could be a traitor, that could be regular. I don't really know. I'm still struggling to read people, and I'll admit that. So I can go either way with that. But I felt like that was an out-of-the-box strategy that nobody else was thinking of, including me. So I'll leave that there.
I honestly thought it was a good move when you first explained it to all of us, but my problem is, why did you leave at that point? Regardless of people that were a little suspicious because of it, there was only, 5 minutes left of the game? You might as well have stayed and try to avoid the tie that occurred, because...
No, there would have been 10 minutes left. So.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure, because you said you left 5 minutes off.
No, after 5 or 6 minutes had passed, so there still would have been 9 or 10 minutes left.
Okay.
I want to add on to that. So if you are doing something in the game and then somebody else kind of calls you out, I think the natural reaction is to be like, well, shit, I don't want to seem like I'm a traitor and going against what my group wants, so let me just stop what I'm doing. I think if I was him and somebody else called me out, why are you doing that? I'd be like, I'm not going to have this come up later and someone tells me to stop and then I still keep doing it. Because that seems a little like traitor behavior in a way, you know what I mean? It's I think I would have stopped. I don't think.
Yeah, I think it ended in a tie, and that's kind of what we wanted to avoid.
Yeah, I agree, but that's why I think that strategy was really good if it had.
Yeah, that's what he said. It was out of the box, and that's why.
The other thing I wanted to bring up, everyone in this table pretty much mentioned that they think at least 1 or 2 people that got the roses was a traitor. So who do we think out of the ones that received the roses is a traitor? Since there was a lot of discussion that there might be 1 or 2.
I don't think I am.
So, from a collection of talking to a number of different people, also with some of my own opinion, a conversation of who had roses that could also potentially be a traitor was Lynn, Elizabeth, and Cody.
Yeah. I said it previously that I thought it might have been Lynn, because when she thanked everybody for her vote, then her attitude switched really quickly, and she was like, I'm not going to touch anybody because, it might be a murder in plain sight, but it's probably her personality. She said, she gets a little,
Physical touch is not her love language.
No, she likes to think it's not going to be in this game. Though. She likes to think it's not going to be in this game. Though.
But still, I still have her, in my back of my mind.
From the three people that were named, any thoughts on that? Was it a surprise?
Can I hop in real fast though? Because I asked Liz, I asked you straight up in front of a bunch of other people, had you been mentioning my name and all these types of things? And you said no. And then everyone else probably at this table has heard you say my name. So that's a little shady towards me. And then Lynn, I asked you straight up and you told me like, yeah, I mentioned your name a couple times. So you were straight up, but Liz, you lied in front of multiple other people.
I did not lie. I mentioned your name the one time that I saw you walking out when we first got out of the choosing ceremony. When you were walking with Lynn and then you saw us and then you stopped talking. That was the one time I mentioned your name was because you were walking with Lynn and that was right out of the choosing ceremony. Since then, when I've been talking to you,
It's been okay, yes.
it's been okay.
But following that question, that's what I was going after.
If you want to talk about lies, Steven, when someone asked you, I'm not going to say his name out there, but who you gave your coins to, you said, I gave 1 coin to Lynn, and then they said, oh, well, how many did you get in total? And then you immediately changed to, oh, I got 6, so I gave 2 to Lynn. Another lie, Kat, I hate to throw your name out there, but when we were all talking about how many times we were moved around, I said 3, and then you also said, oh, I was also only moved 3 times. And then when we were in a bigger group, and you said, hey, people are throwing your name out there because they said you were only moved 3 times. And then I said, well, weren't you also moved around 3 times? And you said, oh, I don't remember.
I'm just gonna elaborate. Go ahead, here. So yeah, just to elaborate on that, like I said that I got 6 in total. I said, and other people can vouch for this, I did 2, 2, 2 to Daniel, to Linda, to the prize pot. I said I did 1, 1, 1 in the sense of that was my order. So I went 1 to Linda, 1 to Daniel, 1 to the prize pot. 1 to Linda, 1 to Daniel, 1 to the prize pot. So that might have been the discrepancy there, but other people can vouch for that because I have just been very open and transparent about where I've put my coins.
I will also add on, yeah, I did lie. It was because you were getting heat for only getting moved 3 times, and I did not want that heat. So I just said that I didn't remember how many times I had been moved. I did not want the heat.
All right, to circle back and kind of defend myself. There isn't really anything else that I could say. I've spoken as to why I felt I was going to be the one murdered, as far as the big personalities that I was standing beside, and how I was speaking to like Kim about how specifically like every person here has some sort of connection as to why it would make sense for them to either be murdered or stay in the game. And I continued I did not unwaver in the fact that I felt that I was going to be murdered, because I was so soft-spoken in the beginning of the game. I really didn't share any thoughts or ideas with anyone besides like, yeah, me and so-and-so are like kind of close, like we're fun. And then as soon as I heard my name, like that's when I started like, let's flip the switch, let's talk about actively, like after the mission. I was very, very vocal about you, Jonathan, for the sole reason that I felt like if you were taking on the lead of the coins and dropped the ball, which led to a tie, and everyone who asked, I was very vocal about how I thought about that. I was also very vocal about wanting to hear as many names as possible, because I don't want a dog pile. I want a very open forum so that as many names can be thrown out there as possible. We can all fact check, because if we don't fact check, we're never gonna find a traitor.
Okay, just gonna say this really quickly so I don't take up too much of time. I've been hearing my name thrown out there, and that's fine. Everyone's name is gonna be thrown out there at one point. I've been hearing that the reason is the way that I maybe talk or maybe I act, like my mood switches, and for example, it's something you brought up. Anyone that's played with me knows that I just act that way because it's kind of fun to be a little bit dramatic and to be the center of attention sometimes. To just play into it, it kind of eases tension sometimes when you crack a joke here and there. Now I get it may not rub everybody the right way because tensions are high and everything might like set you off. I know some
1
things
minute
set me off,
warning.
but I don't necessarily think that makes me a traitor. That's just the way that I play. If I'm quiet, I'm hiding something. If I'm loud, I'm overcompensating. That's just the way that I play. Now, if you have any questions about something that I did, or you notice something and you want to approach me about it, you can definitely approach me about it and I will explain myself. I am not hiding a single thing and I am not worried about that. Like, I will clear myself if I have to.
Faithfuls, the time for talk is over. At this time, we will reach in front of you, grab your blackboard, and write down the name of the traitor that you want to banish this evening. All right, all of our votes are locked in. Yes, and we're going to be going in a clockwise circle, starting with
Oh, you're so mean.
Oh,
you're next. You're next, though.
All right.
Oh, last. Oh. Okay. I voted for Travis. I really went with my gut here. There was a list of 4 that I came in with that I just thought was suspicious. And based on the people who spoke, my suspicions rose and they fell. And I'm sorry if you're not a traitor, but as of right now, you are my top suspect.
You have to put it up so you can see it. Yeah, facing, yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Can that mic go with the clockwise?
Oh, with the,
yeah.
So my vote was Big Red. Yeah, Jonathan, I'm sorry. I know my name's out there. I don't know why, but yeah, so I heard the most votes going towards you, so I really just have to save myself in this case.
I voted for John. I think he should have stuck out with the strategy. And I think if you would explain it, nobody would think you were sus, just because it was a really good strategy.
Okay. This was really hard because I had a lot of people that I thought, and this has nothing to do with anything outside of the game. I voted for Lynn because she got a lot of people putting coins in her box. And I think there were 1 or 2 traitors in the group of people that got a rose. And Lynn was just the one that got a lot of coins in her box, and I think she's the traitor.
I voted for you, Jonathan. I don't think that you're a traitor, but unfortunately I think that you could possibly be getting the most votes tonight, so.
I voted for Elizabeth. I have heard you throw out a lot of names, and the current behavior is exhibiting traitors to me, and if I'm wrong, I am very sorry, but that's just where my head is at the moment.
My vote is for Jonathan. Only just for the simple fact that the way you did counting the coins didn't make sense to me at the time, and I just thought it was suspicious. But now that it's been explained, even though there wasn't enough evidence on anybody else for me to come off of it.
Elizabeth, I voted for you. I came into this roundtable with a couple names in my head, and just some of the answers you gave sort of threw some red flags my way, so I voted for you.
I voted for you, Jonathan. My thought process is looking at you during the first mission. I asked you point blank, how many times did you return to the room? And you said twice. If I recall, if that's what you said, that's what I thought you said. But the reason I'm voting for you is because I heard you specifically state who had coins to another player, but didn't share it to everyone in the group.
Hi, so I came into this room with a short list of who I thought I was suspicious, and I matched that up with popular names that I was hearing out in public. And after hearing people's defenses and who spoke up for different people, I had to just go back to my gut, and I'm sorry, Cody, I wrote your name. I think there was a traitor in the roses, and you would be a perfect traitor because of your quiet, but also your activity right after the choosing ceremony really just triggered me.
I don't necessarily have a rhyme or reason for this vote. I didn't want to get on the Jonathan train simply because I thought it was brave for him to come out with the strategy, and I think he's kind of being hung for it. I didn't want to jump on that train. Like I said before, I voted for Skylar simply because I just haven't heard anything from him or him, but like I said, hopefully in the future we'll have, be able to have a conversation and actually connect, but that's where I'm at.
Right. So the person that I voted for was Elizabeth. Whether it is believable or not, I did not come in here with the intention to vote you. However, your explanation and then your reaction to Travis and then you kind of deflected it in a way and then kind of took it to Steven, and then we all kind of just went with it a little bit because I think we were eager to hear your explanation. But I did approach you, and I asked you if you were spreading my name, and then you did give me an explanation as to why, but you only kind of gave that to me after I told you, hey, I've heard it from 8 or 9 people, you know what I mean? I didn't really give you a chance to kind of back out, and then that's when you told me. But then you also told me, you thought it was me and Steven for sure, and then I was like, so to get this right, you think it's me and Steven, we're the traitors in the game, and then you said yes. But then you also kind of backpedaled and said that it was of Travis. And when I asked you for Travis, you didn't say it was Travis. So I'm just a little confused there, and that's the reason for it.
I'm voting for this person because the first time they spoke at the square table was to vote for somebody. And that is Kim Not Swope. The first time I heard her speak tonight was when she voted. And that, to me, is suspicious.
So I voted for Jonathan. I feel like not enough as evidence has been presented at this roundtable specifically to make me stray away from what I felt coming into this. And a lot of other people can attest that. And I feel as if as soon as the game started and now there is just a different energy. Something feels off. And I don't know if that's you feeling defeated coming in because people are voting for you. I just feel like it's not the same Jonathan that started the game.
So I voted for Liz, mostly because the lie you were telling to Travis just didn't sit right with me. Because you personally told me, Steven and Ash, that you thought it was him and Lynn, and that someone else had told you their name, and that was why you doubled down on it.
I don't like being last. Just saying. I was very quiet at this round table. I came in here with 3 names in my head. I got to hear from 2 of them. And unfortunately, I feel that I actually am going to get more information from this vote, even if you're not a traitor. And I'm sorry, Jonathan, I didn't vote you, but I think we get something from this.
And there we have it. With 7 votes to banish Jonathan, I'm sorry, you have been banished from the game this evening. But before you leave this hotel forever, or at least the room for the next 5 minutes, please come up to the circle of truth and reveal Big Red's true loyalties.
Okay, so you guys should definitely congratulate yourselves because you took out a faithful.
Thanks, John.
But that doesn't mean, we're cool and I'm cool with you, but I still have suspicions. And like I said, you're not the only one. Even when I was talking, I said I came in here with a lot of different names because I just don't know.
Andrea, your little dance. Thank you.
Well, I've already said I'm not in the business of overly defending myself. I do not care this much.